Hey everybody, this is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It's about noon on March the 6th, 2023. Um, I hope everybody's hanging in there. And I hope everybody's finding ways like to ease your pain. Um, I definitely am. It's tough. It's tough making these videos and giving y'all a play-by-play when I'm doing something, defensive that's doing something pretty big in my situation. But I've been like, I kind of knew that, and I was still a big mouth. But my situation, it's miraculous. This is the problem. It's like miraculous, and I'm very grateful for God for just giving me such a mind for give me at least enough information to understand kind of what's going on and opening my eyes to it. But it's still bad. Like it's still really bad. It's just not it's not working out perfectly, but I think I'm getting really greedy. It's like if I would have gotten this much relief, like say 2015 or 2016, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm on my way to just totally destroying this thing, totally destroying the targeting and getting them off of me. But it went on so long, they put so much money on it, it's so serious. And they're serious mercenaries, like serious uh, independent contractors, right? Trying to with what they have left. And I don't think they can. I don't know. Trying, but the guy keeps saying he wants to kill me. That they can't let me get away. They can't lose me or whatever. Um, so I hope y'all are doing great. I hope it sucks what's happening in America in other countries. It's warfare. They're taking our money and our lives and poisoning us. I wanted y'all to think about this. It's like, how do we, because a lot of people are fighting. A lot of people are fighting with, going out and protesting in the courts and everything. The thingy and all the other bad stuff. But I was just thinking about it. Think about this with the trans agenda that's going on and the saturation. You got to know that hospitals, like the globalist networks up at the top, they get in contact. There are all these programs with hospitals and politicians and everything. They get in touch with the hospitals. I've got it on. Let me just turn my TV off. But hospitals are given money and doctors are given money to do these trans surgeries because the globalists push it. Just like it's almost just like the biometrics and the things that were put into people's bodies and they're still being put into people's bodies. I'm talking about the bigger biometrics. There's other layers of redundant systems to target people, but doctors and hospitals were given money to do these biometrics, not kind of not knowing where it was going to go, right? But I was thinking about this. I was thinking, you think about all the people that are having the top surgeries, bottom surgeries, as little kids, going from boys to girls, girls to boys, and everything like that. Now think about kind of the brain mapping they've been doing, and then take into account what Brian too has said about artificial life. That was way over my head like years ago. Like they're creating artificial life. They've already created artificial life. But then as I've kind of seen how everything's working out, I'm like, oh, they're back engineering us, the unique humans that are priceless. And then they want to engineer artificial life. And I think that they're going for like an androgynous form of artificial life. So, an angle of this saturation of the trans agenda is they're going to screw up these kids' lives where a lot of them may commit suicide, you know, and it's very bad. It's very bad. But they're also at the same time taking these microwave weapons, taking this brain experimentation, and they're mapping the brains of those kids that are going from little boys to little girls or little girls to little boys. And they're learning more about like this kind of androgynous way that the brain works when the chemicals are messed up and everything. That person, they don't care what happens to them, but the data they can get gets them closer to creating that artificial life that they can control better, right? These are agendas that will be played out over many, many years, right? So it's not like next year all human beings will be gone and there will be an artificial form of humanity replacing us, right? But these things throughout the next 50 years, right, is are the things that they're working on, that we have to stop. That we have to stop. I'm kind of just real talk. I'm tired. Like you know, I don't want to be ungrateful for the miracles of just getting through this like I have, because the miracles, and see that one in the esophagus, like I've weakened it down a lot, but it still functions. It still functions, and it's like you can break these things. What I found is you can break them down to where the biometrics are putting out 10 to 5% of what they were initially putting out before I got to them with the magnets. But that little bit can still get to your brain, can still make you feel sick, like your nervous system feels sick. So like I'm not waking up with as much mutilated body pain, like fibromyalgia type pain, but they're still doing stuff to my head. Um, High pitched noise gone, like pretty much gone. They'll get it up, and it seems to be coming from the clavicles. It doesn't seem to be coming from the ears. I do have some in my teeth, and I'm very. Somebody put a gun to my head and said, are they in your ears or your clavicles?" Because I know I have some in my teeth, esophagus, and then down here, like in my colon stomach area. And then I think I have another one that I'm not finding in the stomach area. But then there's like maybe in the left ear, but definitely on the clavicles, but I'm not sure where, right? So I'm still confused on that, and I have to move the magnet around too much. I'll tell you if I knew the exact positioning, because you got to get the magnets right over the biometric. If I knew the exact positioning and I knew, okay, you don't have any in your ears, but you have them exactly here on each side of the clavicles, boom, boom. So messing around and not knowing where they are is kind of, it's making it more trudgingly, right? More trudgingly. Um, but I wanted to say that about the trans agenda, because we're not even. You see what I'm saying when I say like I'm gonna leave America? That's my plan. I'm not trying. I don't want to be a coward. I love America, right? And I've been fighting for like so many years to like help us and to help our country. But they're doing stuff like with this trans stuff, doctors are doing surgeries on kids. Doctors will like not see me. Like I had that. Well, I don't want to get into that, but my neurologist, like he knew that I had a biometric city in my body, and he said he put on his documents psychotic disorder, and they would not see me again because of liability. But these people that don't really need to get surgeries, all the doctors are lining up to turn little boys and little girls and stuff like that. It's a huge agenda, right? One of the angles of the agenda does have to do with mind control. How I see the bottom line of this is everything going on in society. Can I say the C the C? Think about what that stands for. The head, right? Like I don't want to say because I want to put this out on YouTube. So the big thing, the big C, and I don't mean cancer. Uh, that whole the plan. I want to be careful with the words, so I don't put this on YouTube. But all to do with the head, the crown, right? The crown. So I feel like everything that's going on, number one on the agenda is controlling people's minds, so that then they can do whatever they want, right? Um, this is also bottom line. I'm fighting, and it's still incapacitating. Like I want to do more in life, but I'm still stuck. Like I just want to be thankful though, because I know there's a lot of you got people, a lot of you men and women out there who maybe aren't getting as much relief as me, and I can't imagine that because it's still bad. Even getting like miraculous relief, it's still hardcore. It's still very hard because the body, the places, it's like my attackers kind of switched, and they're like, let's hit him in the softest points, and whatever we have left, you know, amp it up all the way. When before, when I wasn't knocking everything down with magnets, they weren't turning them up all the way. And they were kind of just, they had a little protocol where they weren't trying to hit the softest areas of my body. If y'all kind of catch my drift there. But I wanted to say, like, a bottom line, because it's chaos right now in the world. It's chaos in America and Canada and the UK. I really want to get out. I really want to flee the country because you hear what I'm saying about the brain mapping of trans kids and people going through that. We're not even close to being there, right? Like when we're speaking out against this stuff, and I'm not talking about us as target individuals, but the population in general, even the ones who are very upset about what's going on in society, not even close, not even close with how complex this is, right? And so I'm like, this is not looking good. How are we going to stop something we're not even talking about at this point? And we're actually like, putting people in mental institutions for something that's the main priority problem. But I wanted to say like a bottom line for me, and it's not like, I mean, I'm gonna do whatever God gives me power to do, right? This happened. God gives me strength. God's with me, But attempted murder every day and professional mercenaries, trying to hit soft tissue in the brain and the inner ears with electricity coursing through your body. God didn't make us to go through that all the time. But like a bottom line that I've thought about a lot is this technology must be revealed to the public. And I know it's like this obvious thing that I'm saying right now, right? This technology must be revealed to the public because humanity, our species, does not have a future if this stays hidden. They are doing this like breakaway civilization, right? Like a god layer. They're doing a new god layer where they can directly kill people with military stuff directly and go, oh, that person just died of natural causes, right? And so they've been doing to target individuals, people with the thing, right? That's what they're trying to do. It really is going to take. I don't know what it's going to take, but in my heart and in my instincts, and I'm not a stupid person. God didn't make a stupid person with me or with you guys, and women. Y'all are probably smarter. I think women are probably smarter than men. Sorry, men. I like women more after all this. I've seen how the men involved in the times of chaos kind of just they're hammers and they do stupid stuff and they're really not the best. Like really aggressive men aren't the best people to have to trust in during times like these. And I've seen women are a lot more careful in these times because they're life givers. They take care of life. They're not just ramrods, right? But that obvious thing that I'm saying is like the bottom line for me with this technology, what's happened to me, what's happened to us, this technology must come out to the public for us to have any kind of future. And it seems like even when we get it out, even when everybody knows about it, it's an open secret that everybody shuts their mouth about, right? Because there's so many people signing NDAs who are gang stalking, who are microwaving people and all that stuff. But I see that it's like if we don't do that, if we don't get this, and this is an obvious thing, right? You're like, yeah, Kyle's saying we need to get this technology out, right? It has to happen, like for the human species to be okay. Now, you Christians out there, God's involved in this, and I don't have the perception that He has to know why this is going on, but I do know He keeps His promises, and up to a certain point, it can be really bad, but at a certain point, He steps in. So even though I can't see some solutions, just like I didn't even know, like through my targeting, getting some solutions like Dave Case's CD, which works great, noise canceling hearing aids and stuff, not even knowing how it was working, and God was still carrying me through it. And then He brings me to what's really going on. This is the nature of what we're dealing with because as humans, a lot has been hidden from us. So never feel like when something's revealed to you, don't feel stupid about it. I want to say that to everybody because I think that's a natural human thing that when you've been fooled for a long time, you feel like an idiot. But in these times and the things they're doing, you're not stupid. Like I feel stupid for a lot of things that have been done to me because there's such long-term cons and stuff like that. But it's not my fault. Like we weren't ready for this. So I just wanted, I don't know, I just wanted to make a video because I haven't made a video in a while. I'm going to be posting a lot of things. Like I think I'm going to do a Rumble. I'm going to have a BitChute and a Rumble and then my YouTube. But please subscribe to my BitChute channel. It's Vulcan Wolverine. And then I'll let you guys know when I do a Rumble channel. And what I really want to do also, because I am tired. It's just there's complications, right? I was hoping that it would just be like, oh, break these biometrics, and oh, I feel great, and I'm getting my adrenaline back. But I've been tortured a long time. My brain's been tortured a long time. And one of the really complex things that I'm not even sure what's really happening with me at certain points, and they got remote neural manipulation mixed in with this, is like my brain and my nervous system have been run on directed and artificial directed energy for so many decades. So I'm dealing with that about like, and then like trying, like letting God heal me and stuff like that. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen to me individually, much less what's going to happen in the world with this. But I do know that God is in control. I do know that He, will imbue us with power to do whatever. And I do know that the prophecy, whatever He has promised will come to pass. Um, in the name of Jesus Christ, Amen. I hope y'all are hanging in there. This is hell. I mean, this is worse. I've said it on videos. We imagine as a child, right? I would imagine hell. I'm sure you guys have read Dante's Inferno. The things that are being done by these contractors and this mind control and brain mapping and rape to the body and the nervous system. It's way worse than any villains that we could have ever imagined or wrote about, or anything that we could have imagined about demons and hell doing, right? So, but I want to, still, even though, and I want to be honest with you guys. Sometimes, like, I'm in my condo and I'm dealing with this, and it's such bloody warfare that I am just in a black mood, like I'm in a depressed mood, and I'm yelling at my attackers, and I'm just like, this has gone on so long. I don't even have a precedent for how to think about this, right? And this guy, this moron on the V2K is like, I want him out, like he's more empowered, he's more emboldened because he's not getting caught, right? It's unbelievable, like unbelievable how it's just unbelievable. There are people behind these weapons, though. On some of them, there are some human operators on some of them, but very shortly, it's already going on that AI is doing complete targeting to some people, and then they're going to do way more of that, and that's going to be this like, oh well, this person just went crazy and died, but it's like an AI that was raping their body and raping their brain, and then they die. Like, so that's where we're going. I hate talking about this stuff. I hate going through it. Like I wish I recently I was like my birthday was February 21st. I'm 42 years old, 42 years young. Um and so buy me presents or just leave in the comments happy birthday. You don't have to. I love you guys, but I've been watching like sitcoms recently because I'm trying to use the mag. It's working, man. It's working, but it's like so ridiculous. It's like a doctor should help me get these out, and then the solution that I have is the only thing I can find. It's what God's kind of pushing me forward, but it's still ridiculous, and it's still super taking too long, and super like I've got to keep the upkeep going, right? Less and less, less and less as it goes. But I want to say, like, in 1990s, like I was growing up, I was born in 1981 and, grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And I remember all the sitcoms on TVs. I was watching Different Strokes and what other sitcom? I was watching Perfect Strangers. And I remember, like, back then in the 1990s, in our country, it seemed, at least to me, that we lived in like Nerf world. We lived in a like almost like people had the mindset of a sitcom in our general society. Like things were so we were so protected, right? That you had that feeling. And I was just like going back to the way I used to think, and I was like, oh my God, how could we have ever known what was coming here? It kind of helped me to go back to that kind of mindset because this is a lot of very very adult serious stuff that has made me have to, like, if you want to survive you have to do more than just grow up. You have to evolve, um, which has been tough. Like it's our brains are so tired, our bodies are so racked. This is not a challenge. It's like, oh, this is a challenging thing for your brain where you got to figure something out, but you have all of your energy. This is like people screwing with my adrenaline level. What they're doing with the biometric power, the ones that still have a little bit of power in them, is they're like, resonating my brain and messing with my thyroids and my adrenaline and stuff like that. So it's not the same type of challenge as, oh, well, I'm energetic and I'm getting up to face this, I got to go to court against somebody that stole an idea from me or something. I mean, this is people who are trying to decimate us, and people are going, you're the criminal. The people, us who we're being murdered in our homes, a challenge nonetheless, but it's not the kind of challenge that's a happy one, right? It is war. This is war. It's an undeclared war, right? They're just going to declare wars like in the Ukraine and send over billions of more dollars while America slaughters its own people in their beds and our children for experimentation purposes and every other evil philosophy that is not going to help anybody at a level of where me and my parents or you guys are, or even these people who are contracting out to microwave or gang stalk. They ain't up in the club. No one. I guarantee you, everybody watching this, if you're watching this and you're like you target people, you're a gang stalker, or you microwave people, and you're like, I've made it. I'm in the Masons, or I'm in this group, and I've gotten high enough where I'm going to be taken care of. Let me burst your bubble on that one. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You're in the same boat with me, even though right now you're dishing it out to a whole bunch of innocent people. Your time's going to come. And I tell my attacker that he sits there. I'm not going to talk about there's like, I mean, it's like three shifts, so it's not like just one guy, and most of it's automated chatterbox of things that they really say. But the mentality is so dangerous. This mentality that some of my human operators have that are mapping my brain stuff is like, it's unfortunate for him. Like that's what they'll say. They're like, that's too bad for him. We still got it. We got to kill him. This is a mindset, a nihilistic mindset that is developing. They're developing it and conditioning it in our society, and they have been since like after World War II. Um, and then we wonder why it's like, well, why would intelligence agencies derail trains and do toxic, explosions and poison people? Well, how could they do that? Well, they've been conditioning people for a long time to murder their own people. They've been finding them, right? They've been finding the certain type of profiles that will do it, and building up those armies and their organizations and intelligence agencies. And now they have a bunch of people that will do anything and don't really think about the country or care about it. We're running on fumes of what our forefathers built, right? In America, what our forefathers built and what they did to this country, people are destroying that. But all the good stuff that they get from doing that, from like working for a contract or something like that, that's from our forefathers. Like the ability to earn money and to go in a society. So they're burning rubber and burning that up and destroying it while they're enjoying what freedom and the Constitution and our forefathers built. Do you kind of get me on that? It's like they're like, oh, well, we're killing innocent people and we're getting money and we get to go live our lives, but they're destroying that ability to go live their own lives and use that money at the same time as they're killing all these innocent people. Because it has to be, our forefathers created our country. Every country works like this. Your country will be successful if you leave people alone who haven't done anything, and you put criminals in jail, right? That we've taken a different track in all of our countries because the people at the top are psychopathic criminals. They're going to work with psychopathic criminals. They're going to hire psychopathic criminals. So those are the people who are going to be running the intelligence agencies. Who are they going to have to go after? The innocent people, right? Um, I don't know. I kind of just wanted to drop a video. I guess I'll put this on BitChute and YouTube. I didn't get much information out in it. I'm pretty tired. Like what I'm doing is working. It's just absurd. It's so absurd. And I'm like, well, I can't keep giving y'all a play by play because that rolls into it. Like if I speak out and I'm like, oh, I'm doing great and God's giving me a lot of miracles. Well, that day they're gonna whatever they've got left going on, they're gonna like, try and do something so I can't look. I went to visit my parents and it's like I was doing a lot better. but they really laid it on me. They really tried to use whatever they had left, and especially when I sleep, right? Oh, that's a big one. But I'm gonna be kind of defending better there. It's really good. Like it's God will give you miracles. It may not be the magnets, and like I'd like to get like 5 800-pound pull magnets, make a 4,000-pound pull magnet with just the rounded magnets, because the rounded magnets kind of contour to the body. But then I have these square magnets that are they're being wasted a little bit. They're putting a little bit of power to the whole configuration, but it's wasted a little bit, and I can't find cheap magnets anymore. I can't find the ones that I bought, right? So I'm very suspicious about why they're taking all the magnets off the market when they're filling people with biometrics. And let me say this, guys, like in the name of Jesus Christ, swearing on the Bible, promising, and I'll do this every time because we're paranoid as target. If you are a target individual and you're a human being, you're paranoid. Okay? Like we need to get we like I've been paranoid at certain points because of the conditioning and stuff like that. And certain people like kind of made fun of me or made me feel less. And it's like, we don't need that because it's a human thing. It's a, you are. And we need to talk about that. Like, if you have, I don't know, man, it's just like we have to talk about it's not an embarrassing thing. If you're getting gang stalked all the time and you get agents sent into your life, you're going to be paranoid whoever you talk to. Maybe not your parents and your best friends, but it's going to happen. I don't know what my point on that was, guys. I'm gonna make another video soon. Like, I don't know, like if I would have gotten a little bit more mercy while I was trying to do this for my attackers, and there are people who want to give me mercy, but it's like it's huge. It's like a big military national security. Like I'm a national security threat because I was murdered, like I was tortured since I was a little kid, and I'm smart enough to figure out kind of what's going on. And then I'm like, I'm actually doing things that they're like, he's not going to even be able, and then they're surprised. And so now I'm a huge national security threat. So like the people that want to help me, it's like forbidden. It's not only forbidden, they could get arrested and shit like that. I can't prove any of this, but this is what's going on. Like I've gotten signals and certain kind of like uh, figuring things out about my attackers and kind of how they work, and they were helping me a little bit before. Like somebody on there was like, get kind of like, oh, it's there, and so I put the magnet on a certain spot. Right now, they can't. None of them are saying anywhere. Like I'm like, can y'all just tell me if there's some in my ear? Like it's just not. They can't. I think whatever. I'm not making excuses for them, but I hate talking about this stuff because it's a huge mess. It's like a huge tar baby. I want to say that I'm like so grateful, and I just want y'all to all, we're grateful for life, and we're grateful for any kind of miracles or healing that we've gotten through this, and please God give us infinite times more, like the kind of power and the kind of above frequency energy that our creators, this chain of creation, all the way up to God in the name of Jesus Christ, can give us is unbelievable. I mean, it's almost like they prepared for that, like because they're hardcore, like going after me every day and torturing me. It's almost like the evil at the top, Satan knew that God was going to be funneling power into people they were tyrannizing, right? And so they stay on top of them, right? And it's an angle because I know there's experimentation, extrajudicial law enforcement, bull crap. This is inverted law enforcement. This is going after the innocent people who need to be protected and letting the criminals roam free and then not taking care of real crime. This is all the way to the other side. We ain't solving any problems. We're creating more problems and we're covering up huge priorities that aren't going to just bite us in the butt, right? It's going to be worse. I don't want to be I don't like, because you can't survive being negative, right? But I'm always reminded by the guy in Saw, the doctor in Saw, where he's like, before you can defeat a disease, you have to know what kind of perfect engine it is, right? And these MFers at the top, they've created a trajectory. They're using AI to rip apart our society and to invert human biology, right? So that's a pretty bad disease, and we need to know it. The way that we live, it's like, don't say anything negative at all. I don't. I'm a survivor, and you've got to cry out sometimes about horrible things, right? We all know this. This is obvious stuff. But some people who aren't experiencing what we're experiencing, maybe they're a little bit more comfortable. They're like, you should just shut your mouth and everything will be worked out. No, it's not going to be worked out this time. We don't have authority figures that are going to wipe our little booties anymore. They want us gone, you know. Um, all right, well, guys, just keep fighting. I love y'all. I'm going to try and put out some good information, like things that information that I'm getting from BitChute or YouTube or Rumble. I'm going to be trying to like post those things to kind of put up stuff where I'm putting things together. Complex asymmetrical warfare, and I'm not just talking about this targeting. I'm talking about they've gone further, right? And the things that we're talking about in our societies are like dumb dumb what's a woman, what's a man, right? And I did want to kind of express that angle about, and I can't prove that, right? But it's like looking at the topography of what's going on, I would almost guarantee that an angle of a lot of this, men switching to women and women switching to men, is they want to get in those brains because they want to create life. They want to create, and this is a long-term thing, right? But and they already have created artificial life, but this is a kind of long-term plan of back engineering people. And they don't care if a 5-year-old boy who turns into a girl hates his life and wants to have a family as a man later on and commits suicide. They don't care about that. They care about like, oh, the brain mapping. And I'm not saying every trans person would get brain mapping or targeted, but they have the capacity to do it, right? They have the capacity to target everyone in the world. We need to know that. Like we need to know that, especially with the thing. I don't know. This is my negative side is like I look at the gang stalkers and the boomers and just my parents. You know, my dad said something like those poor people. No, he said this. I was like, we were talking about Ukraine and Russia, and holy crap! I mean, he believes the mainstream media. My dad does. He's not a stupid person. He just cannot believe that they would be lying to the American people. I mean, because that's treasonous, right? He just cannot believe that. It's just not part of his what he learned in life. Um, but he was like saying, I was talking about Russia, and I was like, well, the Russian people are really good. They're Christians. Most of them are Orthodox Christians, and they're really good traditional people. And he's like, yeah, those poor Russians. The only bad thing about Russia, though, he's like, and those people is they don't get the right news. The news doesn't tell them the truth. And I looked at him with my eyes just as big as saucers, and I go, "Do you think we really get the real news?" And he was like, "Oh, you got a point." It's like everybody. This is one thing they use our love against us because people don't want to be burdens, and you want to fit in and help people. And if you got some kind of medical problem, this is my dad's side. They wouldn't go to doctors because they didn't want to be trouble, right? They didn't want to like put their burden on anybody. They want to just stay strong and just keep moving forward. It's been a little bit of a detriment to me. Like I'm a complainer, right? Y'all know I complain about the right things though, but sometimes I keep moving forward when I shouldn't. Like I'm just like, okay, well I'm dying and being murdered, but I'm gonna keep pushing forward with my life because there's no other choice, right? Um, but it's just weird. It's weird how he's like, oh, the Russian people they don't get the real news. And I was like, you think we do? But I look my negative in the most negative hours, and I love people. I love people more now, even though I hate them. Even though I hate the gang stalkers and knowing what people are capable of, I realize how unique we are and that we're worth more. Like the human mind and our hardware and what we're connected to, what we should be connected to, what a lot of people are connected to, but a lot of people are being disconnected on purpose. We are priceless. So I look at human beings as worth a lot, but I'm angry and in my depression, because I'm depressed from my brain being messed with, I look out and I'm like, we're too stupid for this. Like, we're not ready for this. Like, the boomers aren't ready for it. The young people aren't ready for it. We're not ready for this kind of cruel warfare. We're not even ready to understand the people doing it to us and like their cruel mindset, right? And that's a scary proposition. I know that God, whatever his will be done. I just love human beings so much. I love my family. The incredible things that we've gone through, right? That we've survived through, it gives me a lot of hope. I'm like, because that's kind of humanity's story right now. We're going to be targeted. The human species is going to be targeted with all these things from afar to tire us out and to make us like look like we should be killed or something like that. And from like the things that I've been able to still do in life, and it's obviously not perfect, not even close to that, but it gives me hope. Gives me hope that even if they don't fight fair, which they never will, and they tire us out like Fabians and stuff like that. And look up the Fabian Society. This is all tactics of the Fabian Society, but that also comes from something else. But it's hopeful the kind of miracles that God can bring in, the kind of evolution that God can bring in. I'm still struggling, guys. Like I'm still struggling as an old man, as an old man. I still am planning to go to Guatemala, but I'm like I'm gonna throw some punches. I don't want to say I'm gonna shoot on my way out because that'll be misconstrued, but I'm gonna throw some punches on my way out. I'm not quite sure. It kind of depends on how things go, but I called a personal injury lawyer, and they said they didn't know about any of this and they didn't know about any cases and they could definitely not help me. And then I called them on accident, and then I ended up calling a human rights lawyer. So I'm kind of lawyer shopping, and I'm not getting anything. Like they're like, oh, we don't even know about that. We couldn't even help you or anything like that. They won't even talk to me. Um, I do Targeted Justice has something in the Texas court system, so please go to their website. Targeted Justice has, an affidavit. I'm not sure how far it's gone yet in the Texas courts, but that's really promising. So check that out. But I'm going to do some individual lawyer stuff and try and throw some punches on my, like trying to maybe leave. I don't want to. I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm kind of up in the air about it. It depends on how all this goes. It's going good, and I think a lot of it. I think a lot of my disappointment is like, it's been so long. I want to be free. I'm getting greedy. I'm getting greedy to like I don't want these people on me or attached to me at all, and so it's a lot better. Like I'm like, oh, it's not 100%, but it's a lot better than I'm conveying, because I'm getting greedy. I want out of this. If it was like 5 years ago, I'd be like, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome, right? Now, of course, my attackers are slapping back and trying to, after this video, see, like, I'm like, oh, I'm doing good with this and blah, blah, blah. So then they're going to have to like try and like whatever they have left in the power with the biometrics, because the one in the stomach kind of like, you know, I put the magnet on it, but it's far in there, and the ones in the teeth are harder too. The one in the chest was pretty easy because it's pretty close to the surface, and then the one on my clavicles also not that hard because they're closer to the surface. But the teeth and then the stomach, they're like so far in there, and the teeth are blocking the biometrics for the ones in the teeth, and the one in the stomach is kind of far inside of our body. So I have to work on those a lot more. All right, guys, I think that's about it. There's so much other crazy stuff going on in our society. I just want to tell y'all kind of how I'm thinking about things so y'all could maybe think about things in a certain way to survive. And I don't know, this country has great defenses, but that's what they're trying to break down. The things that our forefathers built, that's what they're greedily taking all the, money and comfortability that our forefathers set up for this country, but they're destroying it while they're doing that to where nobody will be able to experience that, right? Just get buying a car and going and being free and stuff like that. They're burning that. They're burning those fumes, the last of those fumes. Human beings can survive so much, especially with God on our side in the name of Jesus Christ. Like no bull. And I always want to balance it because like I'm not doing great all the time. It's like you know, concern about like this has been so long, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and stuff like that. And I won't go into that, but I think we need to be grateful for the miracles that we can have, and the perception is going to be very important in this upcoming, like all of this and what's happening in the world changing and things. Our perception, and let God help you with that, because there's so much confusion and how to think about things and how to think about our society. God will help you with that. That's why becoming disconnected from God is the most dangerous thing for our species. Um, in the name of Jesus Christ. All right, guys. I think that's it for now. I kind of wanted to just kind of drop a line to you guys. I'm still working on stuff. It's hard to give a play-by-play. It's not 100%. It's just not 100%. Um, but miraculous nonetheless, which says a lot about the type of torture and the type of complication that this is being done to us. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you on the next one. I'm going to be just trying to be productive, in as many ways as I can. I'm not sure, do as much as we can, right? I love y'all. I'll see you on the next one.